I can fly. I'm pilot.
Hey, what's up everybody, this is Reshade Gaming, and this video will actually be an update to the previous Reshade video I made quite some time ago. I realized I didn't provide a whole lot of details in regards to how do you actually install it, what are some of the features and functions that you can use to enhance your visuals. I think I talked about like HDR and a few others, but ultimately I feel like I didn't provide enough information, and so that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be an update, and I'm going to actually show you a preset that I use to make some of my photos. So let's get it started. On the main website here, I'll make sure to put it in the description below. Go ahead and press the download button, and when you do, this will pop up. Now, DCS will not show up on one of your games here, as one of your games here. I'm not sure if it shows up maybe on Steam. That's where some of these games are located, so perhaps if you have the Steam version of DCS, it might show up. So you have to press browse and go to the location where you have DCS installed. For me, it's C drive, program files here, Eagle Dynamics, open beta, and then the bin folder. And then from there, you click on the executable DCS icon. So go ahead and press on that, and then we press next. Go ahead and give it permissions. We want this one here, DirectX 10, 11, and 12. And then press next. Now yours should say install. I think that should be the option. Click on that. And when you do, it'll take you to all these. And what these are the different features that you can utilize inside the game. So I like to use all of them. So I uncheck all and then check all. And it'll take a little bit of time to install them. Now this will not bog down your game. It doesn't matter if you only install one or two, it doesn't matter. It won't impact your gameplay at all. Some of the other features that you decide to choose just might, and I'll make sure to make note of that when we get to it a little bit later. So let's get the game cranked up. Alright, now that we're in the game, first thing we gotta do is go to our options menu. We want to get the very best quality of each image that we can, and so what we want to do is max out everything. One big thing we want to focus on is the SSAA, super sampling anti-aliasing. We're going to put that on ×2. This is absolutely going to destroy your frames, but we're not really concerned about it because we're just focusing on quality. I've heard MSAA is better, but unfortunately it disables one of the key features that we need to use, the cinematic DOF, which I'll talk about a little later. So we're going to turn that off for now. Aside from that, we're going to go ahead and max out everything else to include the grass, background, all that stuff, because the background of your images, you want those to look pretty good too, albeit with the cinematic DOF it's going to look a little skewed anyway, but still. So we'll go ahead and max out everything here as well. Next, we'll go ahead and jump into a mission and start using Reshade. Alright, so we're in our mission. The first thing that you want to do is actually, it'll start off with a tutorial for you, but you'll have to press the home key in order to bring up the menu after you go through the tutorial. So here you can see the features that I have on. Really basic one, there's a lot more complex ones, but for right now we're just going to go through about 4, maybe 5 key features to help your game look a lot better. So I'm going to turn that off real quick just because it's just another anti-aliasing to help reduce the jaggedness of the images. Do a quick look around here, we've got 3 F18s here. You can see these are the 3 settings that I've got highlighted. So let's take a look at how the game looks from external view. This is with the Reshade applied. Absolutely baller liveries by our team lead Shinobi. We'll go ahead and look at the game without the Reshade. I mean, it doesn't look bad, kind of a little bit of a faded look. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and reapply the shade that I had before. You see I've got a bunch of them. Someday I'll learn how to spell too. Basic Reshade there. But you can kind of see some of the differences that just these 3 features, actually 4, we'll go ahead and apply cinematic DOF as well. So to talk through this, cinematic DOF basically just changes the primary focus. You see you can actually blur out the backgrounds a little bit to apply focus. You can use mouse driven focus, and that's what I'm doing here, or did there rather. Zoom in a little bit, kind of make it a little bit more dramatic depending upon what target you want to focus on. It's just a really cool feature, especially like if you're on the ground, you want to do a taxi scene, or you want to take a picture of an aircraft doing kind of what I call the creeper in the bushes look. You're looking up at the aircraft from kind of like the grass level. It's really cool features to just add a little bit more emphasis on whatever you want to focus on, whatever you want to focus on, that is. And so key features here, focal point, you can see as I adjust this, the higher you go, the more, we'll say, distorted or blurred out the things look in the background. The other, I guess, area to focus on here would be the aperture. As you increase that, it puts things more in focus. As you decrease it, things are less in focus. So, things to know about Cinematic DOF. It's really cool, not super practical when you're actually flying because it's going to blur out like your HUD and things of that nature. So next will be the Magic HDR. It's another kind of basic one that has a really big impact. Key things here, you see it got the bottom Unreal and Narcowitz. So you can change these. There's a bunch of different settings within here, and you can see how they impact the game. Kind of a high exposure on this one, that's kind of tough. You can adjust that. See how that changes the gameplay. And this is really one of the key elements of Reshade. There's so many different combinations. I haven't even gone through the entire list of items that have been added yet. And you can see just what you can do with these 4 features. That's just the one here. We can change this to Unreal, or Uncharted rather. You can see how that changes it as well. It puts a bit of a different emphasis on the different shadows within the game. And so we can kind of mess around with that a little bit, and you see how that changes things. All right, so do another quick look around, see what else we can do. Next, Filmic Pass, another simple but lots of features within it. All right, so you can see how that affects the gameplay a little bit more pronounced. So one of the key things that we like to focus on with this is the strength. You see how that changes. I don't really know all the terminology, so bear with me. Again, a lot of this has just been trial and error on my end as well. Contrast, you can see how that changes the shadows a little bit. Kind of the under airplane shadows. Linearization, super important, I feel. I've noticed when I'm trying to get the good lighting effects, like from underneath the aircraft where there are shadows, linearization helps a lot with that. Saturation, if you want to make the colors a lot more vibrant, that helps significantly. You can see, like, if you overdo it, it looks kind of, a little wonky there. So we'll put that back to where it was. Let's see, what else here? I think go down to the gamma. That's also a big factor in how the game looks as well. Kind of a bit of a brightness. Don't really know how to explain what the formal definition of gamma is, but I know it affects some of the brightness as well. And so, you basically kind of put a combination of these different things together. You adjust one, you have to adjust some of the exposure on the others. You see here with HDR, it kind of reacts a little bit differently now that we've changed some of the Filmic Pass settings. And so, it can look pretty good or bad. And unfortunately, you can find yourself in a bit of a pickle if you change something and you're not sure of it. I talked before about the actual impact. So clarity, I don't know if I actually explained that yet, but it just basically changed how sharp the game looks. And you can see the impact of that as well, though. It's about 2 to 3 frames. Not everything has a severe impact, but a lot of things do. And this is kind of the best way to do it here. You're just taking a look and see how it impacts your gameplay. Again, with the understanding that you won't be trying to fly and actually play the game in these settings, it does absolutely destroy your frames. And so, like I said, I've got a fairly beastie system. It can handle it for the most part, still maintain 60 frames through the most part of it. But here you can see it in action once we put everything together. Flying from the external point here and having a cinematic DOF, it looks pretty cool. This would be a good photo shot to take here. I'm going to zoom in deliberately, and we'll do a bit of a flyby. So towards the end here, I'm going to show you, once you start putting things together, how your photos can look. As always, if you found this helpful, please consider liking and subscribing, and we'll definitely keep the content flowing. Wrapped that out. Thanks for watching.